Hello. Here we are inside the Parthenon. Check it out. Pretty impressive. One thing that was not impressive though was the museum downstairs. Not that good, but this, beautiful. This is absolutely amazing. This was created for Nashville Centennial. They went through a little phase of some vanity and they wanted to attract some people to Nashville to increase tourism and stuff like that. This is amazing. Athena, I'm guessing is who this is. Those are the doors she walks out of. She's a big girl, she has to crouch. Very intricate, very beautiful. And this Parthenon is supposed to be the exact same size as the one in Greece. Let's see if we can find a little bit more information. Ooh. Nike is 6 feet tall. Nike looks small in Athena's hand. How tall are you? Oh wow. Okay, so that's Nike. No relation to the shoe company. Or maybe. Oh, that would make sense. The personification of victory. Nike, okay. Was often associated with Athena. The Athenians believed that it was the goddess Athena who had protected them from annihilation and granted them victory over the Persian Empire in 480 BCE. The image of a triumphant Athena being crowned by Nike was also symbolic of the preeminence of Athens among Greek city-states. The winged goddess Nike hovers in Athena's outstretched hand, preparing to crown her with the laurel wreath. So that guy up there, 6 feet tall. Let's go back for perspective. All right. That guy's 6 feet tall. So Athena's got to be like 35, 40 feet tall from the base upward. Something like that. Beautiful. Hello. Give me some paw. Do not enter. Oh, we can still peek. I just won't pass the do not enter sign. That was artwork. Yeah, somebody tells me to get out, they can tell me to get out. Beautiful. These guys were the inspiration for the Headless Horseman. So these are all reproductions. Obviously these aren't from Athens, but they look pretty cool, you know? I don't know if they actually took molds from museums or if they just based it on images. Pretty impressive though. If you like this kind of stuff, there is a movie I recommend on Netflix called Treasures from the Wreck of the Unbelievable, and it has a lot of stuff like this, like a lot of like ancient artwork and archaeological discoveries that are pretty neat. I don't want to give too much information, just watch it. Go into it knowing nothing and you'll appreciate it, especially if you love art and you love history. Take a look at Athena's booty. Oh yeah. 30 feet of woman. Okay, so this was kind of interesting. It says, like the other buildings of the exposition, the Parthenon was not meant to last longer than 6 months during the duration of the fair. Okay, so it was left standing after 1897, but over the subsequent 20 years, its plaster facade began to crumble. Ivy began growing up the columns, and the pediment sculptures had to be removed so that they did not pose a danger to the pedestrians below. Interesting. Safety first, Nashville. Rebuilding the Parthenon in the 20s. In 1915, when the Park Board initiated plans to reconstruct the Parthenon, it employed Russell E. Hart as architect. My boy Russell. He began studying the ancient building in order to make Nashville's Parthenon resemble the original as closely as possible. That's cool. So they kind of took something that was intended for a fair, basically, and turned it into an actual site people could visit. 6 years later, in 1921, work on the exterior of the building began. It's a Parthenon toilet flushing over there. I don't know if you can hear it. In 1923, the exterior reconstruction was almost complete, but a tornado wreaked havoc on the building. Shit. Tearing off its roof. The necessary repairs exhausted the project's budget, and work on the exterior was delayed for nearly 5 years. In this photograph, dated July 2nd, 1923, the Parthenon's roof has been dismantled and 2 new columns are visible on the right. There you can see some of the photographs. See, this kind of stuff I don't mind. Like, this is interesting, but there were other parts of the museum that were a little dull. But the stuff actually pertaining to the construction of the building and stuff, I like that. That's cool. There's another segment on, like, suffragettes, and I was kind of like, eh, whatever. Pretty cool. I see somebody's pee-pee. This was featured in Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief. I'm sorry, Percy Jackson and the Olympians, the Lightning Thief. Never saw it. See a picture, 1931. See the old school car there. Classic car alert. You can have a Model T in any color you want, as long as it's black. Shut the fuck up. Alright, here we are outside the Parthenon, Nashville, Tennessee. Pretty cool. It's pretty big. We're gonna take a look around the building if I can loop around. I probably can't, but I'll try to get some side angles. Yeah, see, it's kind of tricky because there's construction, so we can't get beyond these fences here, unfortunately. But we can do this. It's really beautiful. So this park is actually really nice. And finally we got some cloud cover, so it's cooling down just a tiny bit. Humidity's still pretty intense here, but it's not too bad. It's a nice park. Quite the structure there. It'd be cool if they turned that into a library, you know? I mean, obviously it's neat as a museum, but it'd be cool if you had a library like that of that scale, you know? Here Here we have a statue to James Robertson, founder of Nashville. We are the advance guard of civilization. Our way is across the continent. This feels like we're going on a Lord of the Rings adventure. Looks like there was a statue here at one time. Probably tore it down because he sneezed on someone. Hello there. Seems safe. It's quite the hidden garden. It's pretty. Alright, let's get some shots of this sweet BMW. Beamer. Really happy with this thing. Just zipping around today is a lot of fun. The 330i. This thing has some zip, you know? Definitely more than I'm used to. Really nice car. Right, here we are on the Carter House property in Franklin, Tennessee. So I just learned a little bit about this battlefield, and essentially everything for like, I think he said 2 miles around this house here, around this farmhouse, was battlefield. So everything that we're standing on right now, battlefield. And over the course of 5 hours, from what I read, over 3,000 people died. So it was really, really bloody. You said it was even more intense and more extreme than Gettysburg. So now it's just a pleasant garden. Think of that though. It's like how many people are like still buried here, you know? This is beautiful though. I mean, this is Tennessee. I mean, this is really what I was expecting. This kind of stuff, like really lush and green, historical sites, stuff like that. It's a really beautiful town here. Really beautiful. Lush. I mean, super green. Jeez. Beautiful. So I'm just waiting. There's a house tour I'm going to take, but I'm going to just roam around the property and kind of check it out. It'd be really cool to come here like after midnight, see if you see any ghosts. Here we got some old school cannons. Look at that, wow. Barbaric, man. I love it. Can you imagine someone firing these things off? I wonder how many times these things like misfired and ended up hurting the guys that were operating them. Probably quite often. Can you imagine that? Jeez. Like getting hit with a bowling ball, essentially. My God. Look at that. It's a barrel you don't want to be looking down the end of. Alright. Now if this is truly authentic, there's got to be some like holes and stuff from muskets and bullets. Let's take a look inside. Now, I don't know, like I said, I haven't done the full tour yet, so I don't know who lived in this house. I don't know if these were workers' quarters or slave quarters or extended family. The kid that they didn't like? I don't know. Look at that. It has a feeling. It definitely has a feeling here. Ooh, comfy. Pretty much like staying at the Hilton. I want to touch it. Oh wow, it's real coarse material. Real rough. But I guess a step up from sleeping on the floor. Barely. Okay, so this was Carter House slave cabin. It says primitive rocking chair, woven seat and back. So these are all authentic things. These are all authentic items, and this is the slave quarters. It's crazy to think it was so long ago, but at the same time it really wasn't. It's like the U.S. history, the good and the bad, is a whole heck of a lot younger than other parts of the world, you know? Civil War stuff, the old Western stuff, really interesting to me. Alright, let's take a look outside. Boy, it's beautiful today. Picked a good day to come here. Beautiful. Let's take a look inside Bilbo Baggins' home. Wow, I wonder what this was. Huh, hollowed out log. Looks like a Flintstone mobile. I don't know what this was. I wish there was some sign or something. See the exterior of the building here. You can literally touch history. Okay, I could be wrong, but those sure look like bullet holes. Like the old-fashioned, you know, the marbles, whatever they shot. Let's see. I wonder if we can go in here. Let's see. We cannot. We cannot. I could be wrong, but that looks like bullet holes. Would make sense. Right, here's a little literature on it. When the Civil War began, Fountain B. Carter was a widower. His wife, Polly, wants a cracker. Had died in 1852. At the onset of the war, all three of Carter's sons joined the Confederate Army. By late in 1862, the oldest, Moscow, had returned home to help his father with the farm. The other sons, Todd, and Francis, continued the fight. Alright. You guys can skip over this if you don't want, but I'm going to read it. On November 30th, 1864, the Battle of Franklin was centered on the Carter property. Before sunrise, Union General Jacob D. Cox arrived and set up his headquarters in the Carter House to oversee the construction of the federal line of defense. At 4 p.m. that afternoon, Confederate General John B. Hood's army attacked the federal position and briefly broke through the line. The fighting quickly became incredibly violent, and hand-to-hand combat swirled all around the Carter house and across the farm. The Carter family, as well as Albert Lott's family from across the road, sought refuge in the basement of the house. Oh, very cool. The Confederate breakthrough was soon shattered, and the Federal Army regained the upper hand. Horrific casualties were inflicted on Hood's army, and by 9 p.m. nearly 10,000 soldiers from both sides were dead, wounded, or captured. Among the casualties was Todd Carter, who was found after midnight just southwest of the house. He died in the home in which he was raised on December 2nd, 1864. We were so badly mixed up with old soldiers going forward, new soldiers going back, and Rebs running both ways, I could not tell which were prisoners, the Rebs or ourselves, each ordering the other to surrender, and many on each side clubbing their guns and chasing each other around the Carter houses. Union soldier. It's crazy. And it's funny, it's so peaceful here. It's like the only thing I can equate it to where that many people died at once in such a quick amount of time is Ground Zero, where 9/11 occurred, or the attacks on 9/11, I should say. And it's like, think about that. It's about, flip the camera around here. It's kind of the same deal. I mean, different obviously, but same amount of people died, 3,000-ish. And same kind of thing at Ground Zero. When you're there, it feels so peaceful. It's like you just can't imagine that anything horrific ever happened there. It just feels like a nice park, you know. And this kind of has the same feeling. But at one time, I mean, this was a battlefield. It's pretty intense. Let's take a look inside here. What's for dinner? Very quaint. What's crazy is back then everyone had to use outhouses. No indoor plumbing, at least not here. Let's take a look at this well, see if Timmy's in there. It's a legitimate well. Goes all the way down. I bet this is a little spooky at night. I bet if you slept in one of these cabins, or even the Carter house, I bet if you stayed in there at night, I bet it would have some haunting feelings. Beautiful property. Let's take a look around the Carter house. And so unfortunately, the tour guide said that we can't film inside the Carter house. So that kind of sucks, but I'll do my best to get all the exterior shots, okay? Alright, this kind of gives you a look at what Franklin looks like, at least around here. White picket fences. Pretty town. It's really nice. I like what I'm seeing here. Here is the Carter house. A lot of traffic. Alright, get a shot of the windows here, see if we see anyone looking back at us. Living or otherwise. There's the basement down there. I'm excited to go in there. Must have been terrifying. Jeez. See if I can get a look inside here. Look inside there. Alright, I'll give you a little look inside the basement if I can. It's really dusty. Shoot, let me try. Hang on. There you go. Anyway, so my impression, oh, I got cobwebs all over, shit. All right. So my impression of Franklin, beautiful town. Beautiful small town. Very John Mellencamp, you know? With history sprinkled throughout, which is pretty cool. I like what I'm seeing so far, definitely. Maybe we can find some good food too in a little bit. I'm starting to get kind of hungry. But yeah, cool place. And I'll do a little follow-up at the end after the tour. Bye. All right, I will get a few shots from the porch of the Carter house. Check it out. And you can't really see inside, but it's really dark. But that'll give you a little bit of a glimpse if you want to look. Like I said, sorry guys, the windows are really reflective and it's really dark inside. Here's the porch. Makes you wonder if anyone's like hunkered down here while they were fighting, or if anyone stood on the porch, or you know, took cover up here. I'm sure. I mean, the whole area was a battlefield. And those are the stairs down to the basement. Pretty cool. Let's go down. Oh, it's really cold down here. It's a real musty smell, like kind of like Pirates of the Caribbean. Oh, interesting. See if the door's unlocked. It is not. I'm getting some very serious Mayberry vibes over there. All right. See if we can take one more peek inside. Kind of tough. Sorry guys. I hope that looked okay. Probably not.